The 2017. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News. This is Viewpoint, a presentation of the News and Public Affairs Department of AM 1490 WHPP. We welcome your input on the issues of the day. You can contact us on the Viewpoint line by calling 875-1490. The opinions expressed by our callers and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management and staff of AM 1490 WHPP. And now, here's today's Viewpoint.
And good morning and welcome into the Monday morning Viewpoint. For this Monday morning, December 29th, 2025. This is the last Monday Viewpoint for the year, and last Monday, of course, for the year of 2025. It's been a very interesting year, and there's a lot happening, a lot going on. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. You can also join us on our YouTube channel for the live stream on selmapostherald.com's YouTube channel. And of course, 334-875-1490 and 1492 if you want to call on the telephone. If you're new to the Viewpoint audience, you're more than welcome to participate. If you're not new, and as many people tell me that we listen, but we don't want to call, and I understand that. Sometimes people react differently to a different point of view. This is why it's called Viewpoint. The whole idea is to try and encourage tolerance, to be tolerant of a different viewpoint. And that is not always easy. Many of us, depending on the issues, can be very passionate. And the two issues that we are advised not to talk about are the two that we talk about the most on Viewpoint: politics and religion. It's hard to see eye to eye on politics and religion, but that's what we talk a lot about. But those are not the only topics. I've been watching this whole couple of things I'm watching nationally, and one of them is, I hear the narrative from many of the mainstream media, and the narrative is that because you have to be careful about surveys and how the questions is the key. Many times, a lot of the surveys have questions structured in a way that it gets the answers they want to fit their narrative. And I guess to give you an example, there's two narratives out there about the economy. One says that people are saying, "Oh my goodness, everything is constantly going up and it's getting higher and getting higher and getting higher, and we don't have any relief." But then there's another narrative, depends on what state you're in. There's another narrative that says, well, gas in Alabama, for instance, is down to $2.49. And a couple of weeks ago, when President Trump referenced his gas price, he said, I think under $2 something. There was a state, there are one or two states that do have gas prices under the $2 price point. But if you look at states like New York and California, those are the states where the cost of living is continuing to rise. And that has been the case for a very long time in New York and California. Those are the same states and the same political forces in those states that say, get rid of the Electoral College and let the states that have the greatest population determine the direction of the country, New York and California. And so, but we better take a hard look at what's happening in New York and California and the cost of living. And the cost of living in those two states has been high for as long as I've known about the cost of living. And so if you don't have a decent income, then you could be in a real bad place. In California is a beautiful state if you can afford to live there. And New York is an exciting, well, New York City is exciting if you can afford to live there. And you know they're constantly going up with the cost of living. So, but again, it's the narrative though. So if I focused on what many of the mainstream medias would have me focus on, I'd be miserable because because first of all, I'm trying to regurgitate their narrative and what they want me to think, not how I'm positioning myself. I don't want to, I don't want to focus on the things that are getting better. I want to focus on anything that's negative. And with that, being focused on negative eventually leads to depression. And we wonder why many of us are depressed. Well, and that's the thing. I don't, I try to encourage folks, on a personal level when we have these conversations. Don't get caught up in this thing. Don't get caught up in the system. The system is not designed for you to be happy. That's not what it's about. The system is designed for us to get hooked on it, and we do what it tells us to do. We feel what it tells us to feel. But I'm like the old song, don't worry, be happy. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Pharrell Williams. Oh yeah, I had a wonderful Christmas. I had a couple of days off and I got a lot done. And so sometimes, those for me, just having a few extra hours to focus on my yard, I've been able to start focusing. I got to do a lot of cleaning up. And so, yeah, I got a chance. I got a lot done over the Christmas break.
Because I neglected an awful lot of things. I've been sick, in terms of the it hasn't been physically sickness. It's been emotional sickness. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just so much coming at you all at once. And it's a bunch of negative. I think Trump has made the world so much nastier toward everyone. With his himself. So I think the social media, I'm going to find a way to deal with it without even trying to.
Well, it's hard to do that when every mainstream and every legacy media narrative is the underlying mission is to discredit President Trump and to paint the picture that you just described. That's the way they'll have us so caught up in their mess, in their confusion, until, yeah, you end up being depressed if you follow mainstream media's message.
Right, because I guess because I worked for the Reagan administration, and we knew the Reagan administration wasn't about a darn thing. But we worked, we got our job done. Our immediate, not intermediate, but our director was Elizabeth Dole, kind of thing, with our Dole's wife. And many times when we would go for those national meetings, and then she would come and she would make a couple of, say a couple of words, she'd be going. She'd be going throughout the conference. So I'm just looking at the time but at least one thing about it, she might have been a deceitful person. But you didn't look at her mouth and saw the lies. You didn't look at these folks' mouths and see the lies. Over the weekend, I guess I was looking at some of her hearings with 50, by the way, anybody that talks to her, tell her when they put that Botox in her lip, they messed up on one side. Okay? It's quite obvious. They spend so much time getting glamorous, but they didn't spend enough time feeding their minds. They are a sick group of people that Trump has in his administration that I've never seen before. They talk about how Cash Patel, how he looks scary. Did you see any of the hearings over the weekend?
No, I did not.
Okay, because it's interesting to look at these clowns. They don't answer no question. They just say it. I ended up seeing some of it even before I went to sleep last night. And the people make the comments, when you stream on the TV and get the comments from it. They say, why you dumbass, so don't answer any questions. So they lie. I've never seen a bunch of liars before in my life. I know the government has always lied. But this has been something else. When you got a leader for a liar, a stupid leader for a liar, you got a stupid, populace that follows you. Thank you, Ed.
All right, thank you for calling. Let's take this break and we'll be back with more after these messages.
We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on these 25 that you got left.
That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, let me encourage you to come down. Get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming. So we got to make room for whatever your transportation needs are. We can take care of them right here. And let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars to trucks to SUVs. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
And is that fifth oil change still free?
Always free. Not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma.
At Reliable, where they truly have it all.
Don't wait another day. Don't wait to get sick. Your vaccination destinations are Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy at Day Market. Get the flu and pneumonia vaccines now before flu season arrives. And if you haven't had the shingles vaccine, now is the time. And you can get all of the vaccines at any of our convenient locations. If you haven't heard, the prescription laws have changed in Alabama, which now allows local pharmacies to be even more competitive with the national chains, meeting requirements of most insurance companies. If you had to give up your local pharmacy for a big box store, now is the time to come back home to your locally owned pharmacy. Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy inside Dave's Market. Locally owned with pharmacists that know you by name, caring for you and about you, all a part of the Brown Drug family of locally owned pharmacies.
1490 WHBB. What I did see over the weekend, you know, it put me in the mind of what 60 Minutes used to do, and that was the independent videographer Nick Shirley, as he was in Minneapolis trying to interview many of the organizations and the daycare centers that supposedly received, at the end of the day, I hit different figures. They started $1 billion and end up from anywhere from $1 billion to $8 billion. That's a lot of money. And that is really a lot of money. I remember when COVID-19 was at its height, and I remember how many people were positioning themselves to falsely apply for a lot of the aids, but nothing came anywhere near $1 billion. But obviously it has in Minnesota. And Mr. Shirley went to these different organizations that had gotten millions to perform different services like daycare, and a number of other organizations that the Somali immigrants have been supposedly running. And so they did to him what they used to do to the 60 Minutes crew. Slammed the door in their face, wouldn't answer questions. One of the daycares had a misspelled sign. No one, only one person in one of these daycares, when it's listed as having serving 99 kids and no children. And they were very reluctant. No, not reluctant. They would not allow themselves to be interviewed. Those are red flags. And there's a story this morning, in fact, that says that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's office is pushing back against the fraud allegations after a viral video shows visits to multiple child care centers in the state, including one that allegedly received millions of dollars in state funding despite appearing largely inactive. Responding to questions about the allegations in the video posted by independent journalist Nick Shirley, a spokesperson for the governor told Fox News that Walz has spent years working to crack down on fraud and has taken steps to strengthen oversight of state programs, including initiating investigations into several facilities. Quoting, "The governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action," the spokesperson said. He has strengthened oversight, including launching investigations into these specific facilities, one of which was already closed. The spokesperson added that Walz has hired an outside firm to audit payments to high-risk programs, shut down the Housing Stabilization Services program entirely, announced that a new statewide program integrity director, and supported criminal prosecutions. The response follows the release of a 42-minute video by Shirley, posted Friday on X and YouTube, documenting visits to several daycare centers in the blue state. including a location in Minneapolis. In the video, Shirley and another man are seen at what appears to be a largely inactive child care facility. The building also displays a misspelled sign reading Quality Learning Center without the U, even though the center is reportedly supposed to account for 99 children and received roughly $4 million in state funds. During a Sunday appearance on Fox News' The Big Weekend Show, Shirley said that the alleged fraud in Minnesota was so obvious that a kindergartner could figure out that there is fraud going on. And it's an interesting statement he makes, because I see so many obvious inaccuracies, so many obvious deceptions. But I wonder whether or not people buy a lot of the goods that are being sold, again, to fit a narrative. And so at the end of the day, when people wake up and start not believing what somebody tells them to believe, but deals with reality, that's when it's going to get to be really interesting. We'll see. But that's why these states like New York and California are pushing to get rid of the Electoral College, because they're not interested in many of them in fairness. What the Electoral College does, and what it did and what it was designed to do, was to level the playing field for states with smaller populations. That's why you have 2 senators for each state, so that the playing field is level. If you just went purely on population, the rural communities in rural states will be left out completely in the decision-making process. Rural communities would not be at the table. It's tough enough as it is, but they want to dominate and be able to control everything. And that puts me in the mind of people like Putin. His thing is he wants to control, he wants to regain what used to be the USSR. And what's interesting too for me is that Ukraine used to be a part of the USSR, and a part of their negotiating coming out of the deal was they said, in order for us to be, Russia agreed that in order for you to be independent, you've got to give up your nuclear weapons. And that's what Ukraine did. And now what? Things that make me go, Okay. Let's go to the phone line. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yeah, since you didn't have another call, I thought I'd call. My volume, I hope it's hitting my volume, because I'm not really very well for this phone. But let me just say this, man, because you're using about wanting to control everything. Isn't that the greed that they're telling from Americans, how Americans?
Isn't that what I can't really make you out. I don't know what you're doing with your phone, but okay, now say that again.
I said, when you were talking about the greed and the overreach of various countries, isn't it what we're doing and what's going on in Nigeria? Aren't we creating more problems for ourselves? We're not very peaceful people to me.
Well, I don't think that we are, but we're not imperialists. There was a time when imperialism, and national aggressiveness was the thing of the day. That's what countries did. But the United States, I think, what is deal with in the Caribbean and Venezuela, in a defensive posture, although aggressive. But I understand, according to the statistics that's being reported, the drug trafficking that's coming into the United States by way of sea is down by 92%. Now, do we really want a war on drugs, or do we just want to give it lip service and make it sound good? Well, for years we had drug czars, and we had the war on drugs, and all kinds of money was spent, but nothing ever got done.
I don't understand, because I don't understand what the addiction about. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is not provide it. And then to accuse those people of women, those people from Venezuela, to try to talk about drug boats. It seems so ridiculous to many of us who know that we are
It might be over a lot of people's heads. I suspect that a lot of people haven't wrapped their head around what this, what the international drug market or trade strategies are about. That's why China shut its doors. China didn't shut its doors to the whole world because their population had become addicted to opium.
Again, I don't understand how people get addicted to that stuff. All you gotta do is not do it.
Well, that's easy to say. It's easier said than done. Plus, the average street drug dealer is obviously a good salesman, and so they know how to get people hooked. That's what they do.
It's just pathetic. I just don't understand it because obviously, if drugs are so important to the community, to our nation, you need to continue to let them have it because.
So you're saying that you should. So if we have a way, because I hear people used to say it all the time. Well, we don't own any boats and we don't own any planes. We can't fly the drugs. And now the president is doing something about it, and we're complaining about that.
And you know people when they have no drugs on those boats.
Well, I don't know which world you're talking about. Look, I got some other folks trying to get in. Thank you for calling. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to ask you a question. How is a speedboat 2,000 miles away going to get to the USA?
How is a speedboat what?
2,000 miles away going to get to the USA?
Well, if you're in a speedboat, that's a good way to start. And we probably haven't even scratched the surface with the different ways the drugs are coming in from this country because it's big business. It's a lot of money. There's so much money in illegal drugs until it rivals government's incomes.
Just listen for a second. After the question I gave you, because ain't no way those boats can make it to the USA. But the president said, we are blowing up these boats that's coming to the United States that's carrying fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming from Mexico, not Venezuela. Now, tell me how a speedboat can get to the USA just like the president said they bring these drugs in.
Well, I'm not going to I'm not going down that rabbit hole because I'm not anti-Trump. I don't have Trump derangement, so I'm not even going down that road.
That ain't no rabbit hole. That's the truth.
How do you know it's the truth? When was the last time you were on the Pacific Ocean, brother? When's the last time you were out in the Pacific Ocean? Or no, when was the last time you were on a speedboat?
My brother,
When was the last time you were on a speedboat in the Pacific Ocean headed to America?
just use your common sense, right?
That is common sense. That's my whole point. But I'm not going to argue with you this morning. I'm not going down those rabbit holes because I don't know either. How about that? I don't know.
Let me ask you another question here. You was talking about the electoral college. Now, me personally, I don't want to get rid of it, and I don't hear too many Democrats saying get rid of it. But you said they level the playing field, right?
Yes.
Okay, so isn't that DEI there?
Isn't that no. No, it's not DEI because DEI is a whole nother animal. And I'll say this much, that I have some personal knowledge and have observed the kind of corruption that results from people being able to use that as a claim to say, we're going to teach you how to be more equitable. All that's BS. It's about who can make money. It's all about money.
Well, the thing about it is, right now, this DEI was put in place so we can level the playing field for people in the rural area and people in the minority, so they can go ahead on and get level playing field to get interviews and show you the opportunity.
That's a matter of opinion.
No, that's the truth, right? That's your opinion.
No, but what was affirmative action? What's the difference between affirmative action and DEI?
The thing about it is affirmative action.
What? Basically what?
DEI is specifically targeting people that do not have the opportunity that other people don't have.
Well, like I said, for those who want to live in the past, you be my guest. But while you're living in the past, artificial intelligence is getting ready to kick everybody in the butt. While we're fumbling our thumbs trying to come up with excuses as to why we can't succeed. We better be focusing on developing our skill set so we can be competitive in this new digital economy.
You're talking about corruption and stuff, Randy. Since this guy been in office, he's $3 billion richer. He's just using his government for his own.
What's wrong with making money? I thought you said he was too dumb. I thought you said the president was too dumb to be an entrepreneur. He don't know how to make money. But you just said he made $3 billion. Now, which one is it? Is he dumb or is he not dumb?
Randy, you're the president of the United States. You have ethics that you have to go to. You're supposed to be an opportunity.
The man doesn't take a salary, does he?
He ain't rich in himself. What do you mean?
He doesn't take a salary, unless he's changed it, to my knowledge.
He's making $3 billion this year.
More power to him. Good. That's good. But the question is he doing it illegally? And I guarantee you, if it was illegal, they would be all over him. He can't move now with doing legal stuff.
You go to places like Saudi Arabia, you go to places like Qatar, you go to places like this and that and all other. When you visit them, all of a sudden,
It's called building relationships. You understand that? Probably not. All right, look, thank you for calling. I got to go and take this break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. What did you do?
In today's world, repairing your vehicle to showroom condition demands cutting-edge technology. That's what you get at the all-new George's Paint and Body Shop in Selma. After tornado damage total reconstruction, George's has the latest advanced technology, especially designed for today's multi-tech vehicles. The Bosch calibration system restores safety features like lane departure and collision sensors. The two new Chief Frame machines and computer laser measuring system delivers pinpoint accuracy down to the millimeter. And the two new downdraft paint booth units provide perfect quality refinishing. And with the reconstruction comes a much larger facility designed for an increased capacity and quicker turnaround times. George's deals directly with your insurance company, but they work for you. Call to schedule your estimate and repairs today. See the pros, Eric and Scooter Hoggett at George's Paint and Body Shop, 1215 J.L. Chestnut Jr. Boulevard, or call 334-872-1441. The all-new George's Paint and Body Shop has reopened in Selma. Hi, George. How's your circulation? Do you suffer from fatigue, leg cramps, weakness, or pain in your legs when walking? Do you often have to stop and rest before you can continue? If so, you could be suffering from PAD, peripheral artery disease, blockages in your circulatory system. It may be time for you or your doctor to get in touch with Alabama Vascular Specialists. AVS is growing and serving our area with the most advanced vascular surgery and treatment available today. Dr. Ralph Redd, Dr. Irwin White-Giddens, and Dr. Richard Tam are changing lives for the better when it comes to the vascular health of their patients. Other factors include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, and high cholesterol, all big contributors to poor circulation and vascular problems. Not to mention family history. AVS can help put you on the road to recovery. Offices in Montgomery and Selma. Call 334-801-9952 and online at alabamavascularspecialist.com.
1490 WHBB. One of the other narratives that is that's circulating is that the cost of living is higher in blue states than in red states. Red states being Republican, blue states being Democrat, or to break it down a little further, more conservative, fiscally conservative states are doing better. And the people on average are enjoying a better quality of life. The blue states, the Democratic states, or the liberal leaning states, if you will, seem to be the ones that have the greatest cost of living. And, all of that makes me really, again, think and look and sift, and it explains a lot of the narrative. And so as we get ready to go into this next election cycle that we never came out of, we've been in the election the last 10 years. It's been one election after another, and it's never stopped. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yeah, Randy, didn't that man from the country that needed a cattle, didn't he say he had a cattle be born and a calf to be born last week?
Yes, he did.
Okay, because I thought about him. I think about him quite often because he's the one who said he didn't want to learn about the mission versus of the Bible, the mission versus of the Bible. And a lot of things I because he's such a statistically such a personal, perfect person. Everything about his life is completely in order.
Well, I tell you what, I got some other folks trying to get through. This is your third call. Thank you. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning, Randy. This is Jackie Smith.
Jackie Smith. Wow. How are you?
I am doing well, and how are you this morning?
Well, I'm happy, sad. You know, I hate to see the coffee, the original coffee shop shut down, but I'm glad to see that you're making progress.
Yeah, we're making some good progress, and we're going to merge with Reflections Coffee Shop, and always was the plan. You know, I must say, eventually we knew this day would come. And like you said, it's bittersweet, but it's here.
Well, I knew it had to have been a hard decision, you know, because, you know, and operating two restaurants, I mean, the expense, you know what I mean? You know, so the only thing you don't have really on the Water Avenue location, I guess, is the drive-through. Do you have any kind of a strategy to address that, or have you thought about it?
Oh yes, we have a well thought out plan to transition to Water Avenue with a lot of the conveniences that the people were accustomed to here at 308 Broad Street. We're going to actually have designated curbside pickup spaces. So you call your order in, pay for your order, pull up in space 1, pull up in space 2. We're going to have a person hired just to service the curbside. So you get the order prepared, and when you pull up, you call, let us know you're out there, we'll bring it out to you.
Now that's what I call smart. That's being smart.
Yeah, we had to, just sit down and think it really through. And, backbone has been the drive-through window here at the coffee shop on Broad Street. So we had a lot of people say, oh, you're going to take my drive-through, but hey, we're going to replace it with curbside.
So what do you,
Get out of your vehicle, just place your order and come on in.
That's what I'm talking about. Goodness. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And we're also looking at some online ordering apps. So we're just going to grow it from here. But we're going to start Monday with new hours. So our hours will be 6:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. And on Saturday, we'll open 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. So we're opening even earlier than the coffee shop because they didn't open until 7. So we're going to even give you 30 minutes earlier to get in and get your coffee. And especially for the people that work on the road, have to travel to work, we want to make sure those people are able to get their coffee or before they hit the road.
Well, you put me in the mind of Sonics. I know they do that drive up, park and place your order, and go, and a lot of the fast food restaurants are using an online ordering system as well. So you're right on the money.
Yeah, we're trying to stay with the trends and give the people what they want. We're also going to do some massaging to our menu. We're going to add some breakfast items, possibly a short stack with some candied bacon or something yummy like that. And then once a week, we're going to have a hot plated lunch for lunch. It'll be a hot dinner, not a sandwich, but it'll actually be a meat and three, some type of light lunch.
Wow.
We're working our way into dinners and opening a couple of evenings for dinner, something strategically probably planned around the holiday. I know for Valentine's we're going to be doing some dinners, some steak and seafood dinners. So we're working on some great things for Selma, some things that downtown Selma has never had. So.
And what are you going to do with those wonderful pictures you've got at the original coffee shop?
We're going to transition those pictures to Reflection. There's a room in Reflection that we term the Oasis room. And so we're going to transition all of those pictures to a room in the Oasis. So they'll still be on that wall of fame.
Wow. Give us a rundown of your menu and what the hours are going to be again. So now you're talking. Oh, first of all, before we do that, are you inviting the public to come by today?
Selma celebration at 308 Broad Street, the coffee shop, from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Just come by, sharing stories, fellowshipping, eating donuts, coffee, lemonade. We're just going to, just mix and mingle with our customers, old and new. Some of my old employees will be back. Some of the business partners, some of the partnerships we've established will, just come by and say, hey, we want to say thank you to Selma. Because for 14 years, you have really supported me and in every way. And just happy that we were able to give back so much to our community, pour into our community, actually be a welcome center at one time for our community. So it's always been more than just a cup of coffee. So.
I was going to say you'll still be a welcome center now, and now you're closer to the point of entry, or one of them, huh?
Yes. So we're looking forward to it. Many of the customers from 308 had, pretty much transitioned down on Water Avenue, and we're happy for that, and just looking forward to continuing to spread light and love in our city.
Well, that sounds good. Now, what is your current menu? What do you presently have on your menu?
Here at the coffee shop, we specialize in the panini sandwiches. So, what are we taking to Reflections? The panini sandwiches. So, starting Monday, you'll be able to build your own panini, where they choose their meat, choose your cheese, and choose your toppings.
What?
So, yeah, we're carrying that on into Reflections. And pretty much everything else we already have a duplicate menu. At Reflections, we added something like a grilled chicken club sandwich. So there were a few items that we added at Reflections, only because we have a commercial kitchen at Reflections. Here at the coffee shop, we've only been able to operate with a panini grill and a kitchen stove. So going and opening Reflections, it just increased our footprint. So we have a commercial kitchen, and there's nothing we can't cook, fry, bake. So we have unlimited potential, and I'm bringing on a culinary specialist, and she's gonna blow it out of the water.
Boy, that sounds good. Well, it's a wonderful facility. Reflections is, and the coffee shop was too. So I tell you, Jackie, I'm just happy for you. And so. Now, next Monday is when you're saying the hours are going to change for Reflections.
Yes, the hours will change next Monday, effective January 5th. And on that day, we're having what we're calling a grand merging celebration. How most businesses have a grand opening. We're going to have a grand merging celebration on January 5th. That will be from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. We'll play games, we'll give away prizes, we'll do trivia, we'll do coffee bingo. So it's going to be a big celebration there next Monday, January 5th, from 10 until 12 noon.
Wow, that sounds really wonderful, really wonderful. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience this morning?
I'd just like to say to Selma and everybody that's listening, I thank you for all of your support at the coffee shop, 308 Broad Street. Look forward to serving you. Same friendly service, same great quality products. Reflections Coffee Shop, 1014 Water Avenue. Amenities will be made for your parking needs. We're going to designate some curbside parking spaces where you call your order in and you still don't have to get out of the car. We'll bring it out to you. Open to your suggestions. Hey, feel free to email me or text me or send me a message on Facebook. We love to hear what the community likes and what the community wants. And that's how we built the model business that we have, and we'll continue to do that for many years to come.
Well, that sounds like a winner. And in fact, you won the didn't you win the National Business of the Year award, or for the state? Which one was it?
Yeah, I won the state and I won the national. 2019 won the state Retailer of the Year Gold Award. And that was the first for Selma and first for a small city such as Selma, in competition with the Montgomery, Birmingham, Mobile. But hey, we had put together a real sophisticated plan. I modified that business model, and we just turned things completely around from 2018 to 2019. I won that award, and then in 2024, I won the National Phoenix Award from Small Business Administration.
Wow, that is really significant, and you've built a lot of important relationships, huh?
Yes, we have. We've built a lot of important relationships, and just met and entertained people from all over the world. You get up in the morning, and we look forward to going to the coffee shop because we don't know who we're going to meet that day. So we've entertained, as they say, angels and strangers, and we've just made people feel welcome. We've served them with a smile and served them with appreciation, and they came back and came back and came back, and we're just so appreciative of what we've built here in Selma.
Well, thank you so much for all that you guys do and all that the coffee shop does. And I'm so glad to see that there is a restaurant at the bridge. I mean, there's so much that can be done with Water Avenue, and you guys are certainly an asset, to Water Avenue and to Selma. So we'll see you a little later on, but we wish you the best.
Well, thank you, Randy. You've always been a friend, and when I started, you actually did my first anniversary with a live broadcast from Viewpoint, and we managed to do that every year, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to at least jump on the phone and say thank you, and thank you, Selma.
And thank you, and keep up the good work. And we look for bigger and better things from the Coffee Shop Reflections.
Thank you, Randy. We'll be right there, 1014 Water Avenue.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you later. All right. You heard it. That's Jackie Smith. They're having a big a customer appreciation for the last day of the coffee shop at 308 Broad Street as they transition and merge with the Coffee Shop Reflections. And so that's a real good thing, folks. And that's what I'm talking about. Lead through example. I would rather hear a sermon. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one. Let me say that again. I would rather see a sermon than hear one. It's easy to talk trash, but it's not easy to get something done. Huh? Anyway, let's take this last break.
The journey, and every journey is unique. No matter where life takes you, you deserve compassionate health care every step of the way. Vaughn OBGYN Associates will meet your unique health needs at each stage of your life. Time for your first mammogram, ready to start a family, or need postmenopausal care? Come see the Women's Health Team at Vaughn OBGYN Associates for services close to home. New patients welcome. Most insurance plans accepted, including Medicaid. Be well, live well. That's why we're here.
When your friends and family have automobile trouble, who do they take their automobile to for those repairs? Most of them are going to tell you Benny Austin at City Tune-Up. Benny is an ASE certified master technician. Make sure every vehicle is cared for properly. For honest and dependable guaranteed service and repairs, there's nobody better. For your vehicle, call 874-6689. That's 874-6689 for City Tune-Up, 2899 Citizens Parkway, Selma.
1490 WHBB. And so also, we are in the midst of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa was started by a man by the name of Ron Karanga. Ron is actually from Philadelphia. And he actually came through an organization that I directed several years before I got there. I think he came up with Kwanzaa, the official year is like 1969. And it was designed to be an alternative to Christmas, because Christmas had become so commercialized and people had spent so much money and gone into so much debt trying to keep up with the system, what it's designed for, what it wants us to do. But I just imagine if people internalized the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, we'd be a lot better off. The first principle is called Umoja, which means unity. And it's defined as to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Everybody, everything. You notice nation is in there too. Unity in the nation. And we can't have a united nation if we're constantly at bitter odds. I'm not talking about at odds, at bitterly. I don't want to hear anything you got to say or anything that one has to say. But that's not striving for unity. That's striving for division. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Trump is the worst president ever been. He don't do nothing but lie. He lie. And he's the worst president ever been. And you take up for him every time you get on the TV, on the radio. You take up for Trump and fight everybody and did everything. You did everything. You fight everybody. You ain't off everybody. And he's the worst president ever been. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Happy New Year to you. Belated Merry Christmas. The second principle of Kwanzaa is Kuja Chagalia, self-determination. It's defined as to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. The third principle of Kwanzaa, Ujima, collective work, and this dirty word, collective work and responsibility, which so many of us want to shirk. It's defined as to build and maintain our community together and make our community's problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujima. The next principle is Ujama, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Yamaja, cooperative economics, the opposite of welfare. I had to throw that in. Nia is the next principle. Nia means purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Make us great again, huh? Don't say that, that's a dirty word. But Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness, not exploit them. The next principle is Kuamba, creativity, to do always as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Pride in our community, huh? Yeah. Kuomba, creativity. And then the last principle is Imani, faith, to believe with all our hearts in our people, in the righteousness and victory of our struggle, the human struggle, and to be more compassionate, I would think. You know, so many of us, I believe, have lost sight of compassion and love, but you can have it. I refuse to go down in bitterness. I refuse to live in hate and to internalize hate. If you decide that that's the way you want to go out, be my guest. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
When I call back to congratulate Jackie T. Smith. For years, Randy, you don't know this, Jackie T. Smith's mother and family were across the street from where my grandmother lived. So we knew, my brother Clover was a friend of my brother Nate. I was a friend of brother Charles. I'm telling you, across the age range, we've all had relationships with various members. I remember her older sister would come down and bring her down syndrome daughter and who she would play with. I remember her sister also being one of the most friendliest people in the community. So anyway,
Well, we're out of time. We got to go, but thank you. We can pick back up on this on tomorrow. Thank you for calling. Stay tuned for Fox News coming up next on WHBB Selma. I'll see you tomorrow morning, the good Lord willing, 6 until 8, 8:05 until 9 for Viewpoint. It's 9 o'clock.
From trying to stop the war in Ukraine to trying to keep the peace in Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's on President Trump's agenda. In about 3 hours, he'll host Israel's Prime Minister at the Mar-a-Lago Resort in Florida.